Welcome to Women Being Loved, a weekly podcast and upcoming book series to help you and other women 35 and beyond attract deep, passionate, lasting love while honoring your authentic self. I'm Tadra, your host. Hello, lovelies! I hope you are doing fantastic. And welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new. I'm honored that you'd spend time with me today. I know we are all busy and time is divvied up according to priorities, so I don't take that lightly. Today's episode, Free Yourself to Love. It is a reality check, and it is wrapped in a big, warm hug. The definition of a reality check is an occasion on which one is reminded of the state of things in the real world. Now, usually when we hear the words reality check, we start bracing ourselves to hear something hard, something we don't want to face maybe. But that's assuming that reality, remember what that means, the state of things in the real world, is always bad. What if we entertain the idea that sometimes reality is good, even great, heck, better than we've thus far experienced or even imagined? Okay, that's kind of nice, right? Today's reality check is definitely good. So you can sigh a relief. But you have got to have an open mind to accept this good reality. And for some of you, it is far easier to believe the worst than the best. And I'm not judging you, sis. I understand that the reasons for this may be protective. I get it. Trust me, from experience, I get it. We have all been hurt in one way or another. And when it comes to that romantic kind of hurt, girl, that digs deep. So I understand. We start saying, I'm not here for this, right? And trying to come back to a place of being hopeful, even hopeful, can be scary because it's painful. It's painful to get our hopes up and risk being disappointed again. So what do? We sometimes create a creed. And when I say creed, that just means a set of beliefs that guide our actions. It doesn't have to be attached to a religion to be a creed. Okay. So we create creeds and statements that we tell ourselves and that we start to believe after we've heard it so many times, even if it's just like in our own heads. We start to believe these things and they aren't reality, at least not the full picture of reality. And what's happening is these things are tying us up, keeping us away from the very love that we desire. And we are not free to experience love. I'm not making this up. I promise you, I am going to give you some solid examples from real women's lives. If you don't know, over the past year, I've been interviewing midlife women from various countries and cultures and socioeconomic backgrounds and really asking them deep personal questions about their lives, their relationships, their past, but most importantly, how they found their most perfect love at 35 or later. So all of this nosy personal information is being culminated into a book that will be finished and out at some point next year. Every day I am listening to the recordings of the interviews with these women, or I'm hopping on the phone and trying to coordinate time zones and talking with them to get clarity on certain things. Or I'm just pecking away on my laptop, writing out their stories. And as beautiful and inspiring as their stories are, and believe me when I say that, I am not making that up. They are amazing and I can't wait for you to read them. These women did not just float effortlessly into loving, incredible relationships without any of their own hurts, without any of their own obstacles to overcome, their setbacks. And we You and I are about to get real on what some of those are. Well, were, because they're not there anymore. What some of those were. This morning at 3 a.m. when I could not sleep, hello midlife, that's been happening so much more now. I was like, okay, I might as well do something productive. So I got up and I went through the stories and I gathered the things that the women shared with me, the hard things, the things from their past, the things that those inner voices told them made them unlovable, that said, you're damaged. And for a season, these women believe the voices, and that's because the experiences that the voices were tacking onto, let's say, actually happened. Like these women went through these very real experiences. But the second part of that, the part where the voices were saying, therefore you are not lovable and you will never find love again, that's the part that was not reality. So each of these women are currently in incredible love relationships, and many of them have been married for decades, and they are still very, very happy. Yes, that is possible. So let's look at this list that I put together based on the things that they've been through. I bet you will hear something in here that you can identify with, something that the voice in your head is saying disqualifies you from finding love. You will be able to tell that voice to shut up. So first thing, I am bipolar. This was several women's stories. I am a single mom with 4 kids. This could be 3, 2, 1, whatever. I am a single mom with kids. Is that going to hinder me? I had a decade-long drug and alcohol addiction. That's a big one, right? You think, okay, am I gonna find love? Am I gonna find someone who understands what I've been through? I've been divorced twice. In some cases, 3 times. I was abused as a child. Oh, lots and lots of people's experiences. I've been single for a decade. I'm a caregiver for my sick parent. So now you think, oh, somebody has to come in the middle of me not just being free to do whatever and travel wherever because I have this big responsibility. I was homeless at one point. Oh my goodness, that can be such a point of shame for some people. Like, how do I even tell that to someone that I'm falling in love with, right? I'm 50 and I've never been married. That was one that someone shared, and she was like, will people think what's wrong with her? I don't want a sexual relationship outside of marriage. Perfectly someone's right to say that, but they wondered, like, will someone be okay with that? I don't want children. This was my personal one. I have no desire for children. I love being child free, but a lot of times women will think that means they're not going to find someone because every man wants a family. Not true. Not true. Other people think I'm weird. I think that might apply to a lot of people. You know, I think what's weird to one person is totally wacky and wonderful to someone else. There were no lasting healthy marriages in my family of origin. That's a big one. I heard a lot of women say, I don't even know how to do marriage because I never saw it done well. I was raped. Yeah, it has not been my experience, but I can only imagine. I've only dated addicts and I don't know how to have a healthy relationship. Yeah. I can't find someone who shares my spiritual beliefs. I have a very successful career and men are intimidated by that. Let me just say, sis, not every man. I've experienced domestic violence. I think far, far more women have than we know. I'm autistic. I'm 60. I have a special needs child. I struggle with trust and vulnerability. Wow, that's quite a list, isn't it? And it all came from real women. If you find yourself in any of these points and you've been saying that it's impossible for someone to love you because you are damaged, because you have too much baggage, just know that that is not reality. Now, will you have to do some work on healing? Possibly. Will you need to go to therapy? Maybe. Will you have to pivot from the type of people you associate with who may be keeping you in a negative space, stuck? Probably. Will you have to make big life changes, like changing your church or moving to a different city or country? I don't know. Maybe I did. But perhaps in some cases, you just need to stop believing the lies. Yeah, sis, just stop believing the lies. Whether they come from society, the internet, your family, your friends, the voice in your head, I don't care. Say no. This is not okay anymore. One woman told me after her divorce that she was shook, y'all. And she was unsure if good, solid relationships even existed, right? She was like, is this like fantasy? She asked the loving couples at her church if she could spend time with them, sort of like a couples shadowing program to build up her faith again in love. And it worked. She's in an incredible relationship right now. And I would say that probably other single people are looking at them as couple goals. I had something similar happen to me in my 20s. I wasn't as intentional as this woman, Paula is her name. I wasn't as intentional about it as Paula, but I just found myself renting part of a two-family house from a couple that honestly was unlike any married couple that I had ever met. First of all, they had been together like 14 years and they loved each other so deeply. Like if you were in their presence, you just knew it. You felt it. There were no doubts about it. They had 4 kids. They did not have a lot of money, but I saw partnership and respect between them. I had never seen a husband so actively involved in raising his children, in cooking dinner and cleaning the house. Like they just operated like this seamless team. And if something needed to be done, like one of them just did it. It wasn't like all this tension and, well, you're the woman and no, it was just nothing like that. And I remember the wife she loved going on like humanitarian trips. So I remember this one time that she went to India, and I don't remember if she was building homes or digging wells but she was always doing something like that. And she took the oldest daughter with her, who was like 12 or 13 at the time, I think. And then the other 3 children stayed home with the dad. And just seeing how this man maneuvered his family and his children while his wife was away, and it was just beautiful to watch. And for me, it was life-changing. I have said often that this man single-handedly changed how I viewed what was possible for a husband. And living there with them for 1 year healed my heart. I don't know what your healing space will be. I can't possibly know that. But my prayer for you is that you recognize it when it presents itself. Now, I'm going to share an unpopular opinion with you. Sometimes, and I put an asterisk there, sometimes with the right person, we actually heal better inside of the relationship. There is this idea that we have to clean up our act completely, be as close to perfection as possible before we can meet the most amazing person that, is going to be our great love. And I will say it's it's good to aim for personal healing, so you recognize a healthy love when you see it. And also so that you know who you are aside from a relationship. But you know what? There are no absolutes. Some of the women I spoke with definitely said their husbands were a piece of the healing process. Now, hear me. I am not advocating looking for a savior so you don't have to do personal work. I did not say that, sis. Do not go out there saying I said that. I'm saying stay open. Don't believe you have to be perfect. Okay. I hope this was encouraging to you. And you know what? I would love if these episodes weren't one-sided. So if you want to share something with me, please leave a comment below if you're listening on YouTube, because you can comment. Or if you don't want it to be public, then just send me an email at Todra, that's Todra, at womenbeinglove.com. I will also put it in the show notes, and I would just love to hear how this podcast is impacting you. If it is, it's just really encouraging for me to keep going. Also, while I'm here, I want to give a huge thank you to Cindy Perloff for supporting this podcast with your financial gifts. It is so kind of you and so needed. So thank you. If anyone else would like to support this podcast with a gift, the link is in the show notes, or you can just hop over to my website, womenbeinglove.com/podcast. I hope you have a beautiful week. Sending you lots and lots of love, and I will see you soon.